What's good, yeah? It's time to talk about one of the craziest glitches in virtual frames. At the moment, there's a lot, like for example, Sorbonne Arcana set being glitched, Zilla2 attacking twice with Pyrus and Twin Feet instead of attacking once. But that's not the part we're interested in. We are interested in Nisalt and how he at the moment breaks the game, especially the guild boss section. So, I'm gonna give it to you straight and I'm gonna give it to you fast.
Our research begins.
Nisalt. Nisalt has an awakening, an A3, that states Toxic Fire inflicts 30% extra damage on targets, which with HP higher than 50%. For some weird reason, this A3 turns into a 1.3x multiplier for everyone's damage besides magic damage. So, this A3 on Nisalt is a 1.3x modifier for your hero's damage besides magic damage dealing units, and we'll have a look at it right here. We'll be going to show it off with Arrogance. And just why we have so many units, so we're going to go with Arrogance, Sealers, Hex, all of those units, but all of them facing away, obviously, so they don't do their own damage. That is just to trigger the Sorbonne Arcana set that is on Arrogance. So, the Sorbonne Arcana set is triggered, and we have a very clear 230k damage. So, you can see him hit. And then right here, 230,690. Now we activate Nisalt's ultimate. The damage goes up to 247 because it's the 5th Sorbonne Arcana stack. And we should see another 247. There we go. Because if we take a look at the stacks at the moment, the boss is inflicted with now Toxic Fire, and get ready. Come on, give us the hit. Come on, Arrogance. $370,000. He went up from 247k all the way to 370,000 damage. Ain't that beautiful? So there you have it. And yeah, it works on everyone from Arrogance, Lust, Satcham, Sealer, Sargak, Falshia, but Falshia only for her normal attacks, not for the magic ones. So yeah, there we go. Now, who obviously benefits from this the most? The answer is very simple. Sealers and Nightmare teams. So let's have a look at units that you should be using or should consider using now that Nisalt is giving that 1.3x modifier. Sealers is an easy pick with who's going to do a ton of damage. Hatset is going to get relevant because she is a Nightmare unit and a platform unit. Arrogance is obviously super viable. Lust is very crazy. Satcham is absolutely beautiful with it. Twin Fiend and Zilla2 still work, but they only do their own damage, so they don't get enhanced by Nisalt, so you can skip out on them, because you have better units to use. Salazar is really good. Obviously, Torador as a Lord for that added attack speed increase. Falshia again, she's meh. And then we have the two top Gs from the epics. Wrath and Deimos. Wrath and Deimos are both absolutely magnificent for this one. Deimos can hit up to 140 million damage. Especially if you give him a Torador, it is crazy. Wrath can also go up to an easy 70 all the way up to 90 plus million damage, even as the Lord himself. So it is absolutely incredible. Obviously you're going to go with your standard Dolores. So now that we've talked about like the most popular units, let's build a team. let's build a team to show off Nisalt. So we're going to go with obviously Dolores, obviously Hollow for the rage region. Then where do we have her? Beautiful Laurel for the rage region. Volker to reduce the respawn time. We're going to be putting her at the bottom for the moment. Then Wrath, Deimos, and let's go with Lust. Wrath, Deimos, Lust, which obviously then leaves us with putting in Nisalt, which gives us 2 spots. We can put in Mary. So the best part about this glitch is you can reduce your team's requirements for having a ranged damage dealer. Normally, obviously, you can only run 3 fighters, and now you can reduce the need for a ranged damage dealer in your team. So you can swap out Hexes, Satrams, even Silases by just putting in a Nisalt. You do not need those heroes anymore, and it's crazy. It is really, really crazy. So if we count our heroes now, we have our 3 fighters on the field. We obviously have Dolores on the field, that makes it 4. We have Hollow on the field, that makes it 5. We have Nisalt on the field, that makes it 6. And because we're rotating units, we only have 1 more space, and that is number 7. And for that one, we are just going to be going with... let's go with... Hatsit. Because why not? So we'll be going with Hatsit. Right, so it's obviously time to talk about the gear. Let's go from left to right, from up to down. So Wrath is basically the general rule for this kind of team is you can go with super high crit damage because you're going to have high uptime through Dolores as well as that extra multiplier from Nisalt. So Wrath running an unimaginable 240% crit damage on around a total of 16k attack, and a Wailing Skull at 25 obviously isn't needed because we're going to be way above 50k. Then we have Volker just in a straight up invigoration set. If you can give us some rage region, sure. Artifact also could be whatever. Deimos actually in an Infernal Raw set on high crit damage, so 220%, rather low-ish attack at only 200%, attack speed at 250, and then rage region at 46%. You could go lower there, but every piece of rage region just really helps with rotation. And now the interesting part, Frigid Flame. It doesn't really make sense, but Frigid Flame apparently as another damage multiplier interacts really well with Deimos, so Frigid Flame has a space in Guild Boss even without the element cleansing it. Today is the day of strange things happening. Another Infernal Raw set, in this case on Lust. Obviously the Infernal Raw sets could also be swapped for Sorbonne Arcana sets if you have those. And right here we again have rather low-ish attack, only clocking in at around 13,800. We have high attack speed, high crit rate, high crit damage. Again, some slight rage region. And then also her exclusive artifact, Burning Desire, just to make it easier to gear, I guess. Then we have Hatsit. Hatsit in high attack speed, high crit rate, high crit damage. Obviously, the stats really don't need to be as good. And then for the artifact, we have a Bloodborne Signet, because that's one of the only ones that do really help her. So that's also the reason why we're running not like super crazy crit. And then obviously your Hollow. Hollow, if you can, obviously get her in an Invigoration set, or even, now that we have it, get her in a Morale set. But mine is just in this set right here, because it looks shiny. So the main parts are high attack speed and high rage region. The rest is completely ignorable. As you can see, we have 1,800 attack. Obviously, healing effect is useful, but it's not that crazy. And artifact wise, Euphoric Orb, if you have it, just for that extra attack speed to just get that tiny bit more damage out of your units. Laurel is super simple, high HP, invigoration set. The rest really doesn't matter. It's just so you can kind of decide yourself when she dies. Nisalt now has only one important part, that is, you want him on high attack speed, And artifact wise, you want him in the Nightmare Samsara, giving you that extra rage regen per attacks. Even though he attacks super slowly, it just helps that tiny bit with getting his rotation off faster. And Mary, you can just throw in an invigoration set. The important part is that you have around like 250 attack speed, so you can get that permanent vulnerability. And the artifact is completely unimportant. You don't even want the rage because you don't want to trigger ultimate anyway. Because if you do trigger ultimate, she stops attacking, which means she stops applying invulnerability or vulnerability. And then last but not least, we have Dolores. This Dolores is pretty decent, 40% rage regen. Main, again, attack percent main, rage regen flat substat. And also running an invigoration set, but again, that's not as needed, and just finishing it off with a casual key in wisdom. So it's runtime. Obviously, this run might not end up perfect with perfect Dolores RNG, but we're going to keep it like that anyway. Who knows, maybe we'll get Dolores procced every single time. Alright, so here we go. We'll be starting it off with Deimos, because Deimos really just takes forever to charge his rage, so we'll be going in with Deimos. Already giving him the invigoration set through Volker. Then we'll be following it up with just putting in Nisalt, also giving him an invigoration set. Lust, giving Lust an invigoration set. Putting in Hatset, Hollow, finishing it up with Wrath. And then just wait until pretty much everyone's ult that is important is triggered. So in this case, it's mainly we waiting for Dolores' ult to be triggered. So here we go. Everyone's ult is triggered. There we go. And perfect. Out. And then we can just place in Mary. Mary should apply the invigoration to, in this case, who did she apply it to? The important part is she applied it to someone who didn't have it before. So at the end of the day, it's good enough. Alright, another ult from Hatset right here. Another ult from Lust. The beautiful part about Lust is that she's obviously going to be making the rotations faster of like Wrath, Deimos. So we are already at 350 at 9k blood, which is obviously pretty strong. Those numbers are wild. They might not look like the biggest numbers, but there's a lot of those. And yeah, the good part about Mary is you can just keep her in basically permanently. And then as soon as Lust is ready, not Lust, as soon as, what's her face? Laura is ready. You take her out real quick, put in Laura. Start with all your ultimates again, and then put in Volker. So Volker is then going to be used for us to get another phase of vulnerability while everyone else is on cooldown. So right here we'll be just waiting for Volker to get her ultimate off a single time, and as soon as her ultimate is triggered we can already take her out again because the vulnerability is going to stay. And furthermore, obviously it helps with Lust's damage. So we can then, right here, but we're going to wait out the 11 seconds to put in Laurel again, because it would be kind of a waste to just for 11 seconds put in Mary to just then have to take her out again. So that's what we're going to do. Ultimate wise, we do want Nisalt to trigger before we take out Laurel, just so we can give him that rage boost, and then again bring in Mary. We're already at 20,000 on the shield at 230. The shield is going to be breaking, and we should be able to deal some more huge damage. Right here, triggering all the relevant ultimates. Just make sure you do not trigger Mary's ultimate, because Mary's ultimate really isn't all that helpful right here. So yeah, obviously units you could swap out are very simple. If you have it, do swap out Hatset for Sealers. I mean, just Satcham. The chances or the ways you can play this are pretty much not endless, but there is a lot of characters that now kind of became relevant. But at the end of the day, it's mostly the already relevant characters getting even better. So right here, we just wait for Dolores, wait for Hollow, and take out everyone. and can then continue dealing our damage. Volker again goes in, will be taken out as soon as she triggered her ultimate that single time. We're already closing in on 40k damage by the time or before the shield is even up. So right here, Volker should be almost ready with her ultimate. Beautiful, time for her to go. And Nisalt should also be ready, as well as Lust should also get her ultimate off by the time we place someone else in. So here we go. And goes in, boom, activated. Right here, get that vulnerability on the down phase for some even crazier damage. We could have put Mary in a bit faster, would have meant a bit more damage, but yeah. So right here, we are already at 47k. We can use Heartset, use Lust, and yeah. I think it is going quite well. We have 30 seconds left. We broke the 50k. And we are using, obviously, no legendary lords. We are just using Wrath, Lust, Arrogance. We put in Heartset for fun, you could say. Time to take out Mary again. Give us that last sweet boost of damage. And Volker in again, who we can hopefully at least trigger once more, but it's unlikely. So yeah, let's have a look at the numbers at the end, and then obviously I'll just give you another run where we'll be using a bit more correct team just to like kind of show the potential of this. So here we go. Finishing off at 56k, we might as well let it run through. Alright, time to have a look at the damage. Who did how much, and yeah. Let's have a look. So, I mean, it kind of becomes clear that Heartset is still more of a gimmick right here. But yeah, Lust, even at A2, went up all the way to 173 million. Deimos with a very, very solid performance at 116. Wrath with some easy 80 million damage. Nisalt just doing his thing at 40 million. And obviously there's nothing to expect from Volker and Mary. So yeah, that's 50k team for you. Obviously for that team, just easy fixes. Take out Heartset, put in someone like Silas, Setram. Take out obviously Wrath if you have it, put in someone like Torador. Deimos could easily be swapped for someone like Arrogance, right? Salazar also has a space right in there. And then yeah, for the bottom row, obviously use whatever you have. It's really beautiful, the fact how many teams you can build with this. Alright, so here we are with an Infernal Fighter team. You can pretty much imagine Nisalt just taking the place of like your Hex or your Setram. And we'll be going over the gear real quick because it's mainly the same thing, but in this case, Twinfin is running this piece of gear right here. The casual tier of Twilight, because we don't have A3 Zillitu. Same Dolores. Zillitu in this case in Silas gear, or Deimos gear better said, with the Wailing Skull. Hollow also again in her non-invigoration set with Euphoric Orb. Nisalt in the same gear again with high attack speed and at Nightmare Samsara. Onto Torador, I guess you could say Torador is in like a damage-ish set. So high attack speed, high attack, suspicious stats, and a tuning crystal just to keep himself alive. Volker, again your usual invigoration set. Lust, high crit damage Inferno Roar. Arrogance, high crit damage Sorbonne Arcana. And then another invigoration set on Laurel. So we have a total of 4 invigoration sets. 4, 1 on Torador, 1 on Volker, 1 on Dolores, and 1 on Laurel. So those are going to be going on, obviously, Zillitu, Lust, Arrogance, and Twinfiend. Or potentially even Nisalt. It doesn't really make a difference, or doesn't make a difference all that much. So the important part about Nisalt right here is if you already have a top tier team that is going to be using Silases, Hexes, Cetrims, then you really don't have the need to swap him out, because you always gotta remember you're going to be losing damage because Nisalt is only doing around 40 million. So if you swap him in for someone that does 120 million, you gotta get that 80 million from your other characters. But enough of that, let's actually start in right here. Alright, so here we go. Twinfiend in first, invigoration buff for Twinfiend. Lust, come on. Lust in getting that invig from Dolores. Zillitu in, invig from Volker. Arrogance in, he's going to get his invig later. Nisalt in, kind of in an awkward spot outside of Dolores range, but we gotta sacrifice someone if we're running Twinfiend. And yeah, we're going to pick Nisalt. In this case, the sacrifice out of Dolores range, but it really doesn't make a difference. He's mainly there for the debuffs. And then we finish it off with Hollow. So right here, what we'll be going to be waiting for is around 75% rage on our Dolores, which is, let's make it 78. That's the time when we can trigger Twinfiend Zillitu, and with the help of Hollow, our Dolores should be fine before Twinfiend triggers. Perfect. And then we can activate Nisalt, and then obviously take out at this point Laurel and face Torador backwards, because he's going to be applying that invigoration to Arrogance, but also hit the boss, as you can see right here with the defense down. Obviously, Twinfiend goes in just so we can get that another hit with our Zillitu. And Torador's ultimate just so we can trigger Lust's talent. A bit unlucky on the Dolores buff right there, but honestly at the end of the day it is what it is, it's not that bad. Right here again going in with the Zillitu, with Lust and Twinfiend. And the good part is we can just keep Torador in pretty much as long as we need to. Obviously if we had hit that whole combo on the boss being invulnerable or vulnerable, it would have been able to deal even more damage. But honestly it's nothing to worry about, because we're going to get that huge damage anyway. So right here we can put in Laurel, take her out again, activate our ultimates, another Twinfiend ult, and bring in Volker. Volker is also going to be, with the last run, again taken out as soon as we can trigger her ultimate. Her main reasons are again boosting Lust and also giving us another phase of vulnerability. So right here, which means we can now take her out and activate Lust. So right here we'll be waiting for a 84%. At 84%, the natural rage region of your Dolores. You could even wait for like 82, should be enough to trigger her before Twinfiend goes off, which works perfectly right here. And then, yeah, we'll be just basically fasting forward, putting in our Laurel, which that is also why you want her with HP, because she could have died through those meteors. Activate Nisalt as soon as Nisalt is active. Take out Laurel. We're not going to trigger Twinfiend because Zillitu only is on like a 3-second cooldown, so she wouldn't have been able to go with her ultimate with Twinfiend. So we'll be going to save us right there. And then trigger Zillitu right here. Continue with everything rage region wise. And then, yeah, we'll already be doing massive damage. 35k by 220 is definitely absolutely ridiculous. But at the end of the day, Nisalt kind of only replaces one of those top tier units. So it's not like you're going to be able to hit 100k all of a sudden if you just take out your Hex that usually already does 300 million, right? He's just a way more accessible hero. You don't even really need to build him that well. You could also just use him in like a full debuff setup and you would barely notice a real damage difference. So right here again, out with the fast swap, Volker in, and it's just kind of like rinse and repeat at this point. Another ultimate from Twinfiend. Skipping forward, going with that Lust. And another Dolores ultimate. Beautiful. Volker, Volker triggered. Can go out again. Right here we need to wait again with Twin Fiend, because it's not gonna be quite enough. So we're just going to be waiting for the next rotation. So right here, Nisalt activated. As soon as that happens, we can go with Zillitu, Twin Fiend, Torador. Torador again, just facing him backwards out of habit, I guess. Let's see if we can get that massive Zillitu hit on the invulnerability. We might have been able to, but it was kind of hard to see. But yeah, we'll just continue with our rotation, and Nisalt should be able to again provide us with that beautiful, beautiful debuff. Twin Fiend right here should be able to trigger before Zillitu ends, and with the Dolores, everything comes in quite clutch. So yeah, going quite well. We're at a solid 61k, 62, 63k, and that is without a friend assist. Laurel obviously out again, triggering everything ASAP, just so we can get in that teeny tiny bit more damage. Obviously putting in Nisalt. Last. And yeah, we should be getting somewhere to that 70k. How close exactly is hard to say. The answer is 68686. That's a fancy number. So let's end it there. 2 more blood from someone hitting. So let's have a look at the damage numbers. Yeah. Zillitu is obviously doing her job quite well, and obviously the most unexpected part in this case is the fact that you do have that increase on arrogance and the increase on lust. Now this kind of leaves me with the question of, is my Zillitu that good, or is Nisalt still also affecting magic damage? It's kind of hard to say, I guess, but yeah. Casual 200 million from Zillitu. And again, team building wise, we've talked about it already. Just put in whatever you have. It opens up so many possibilities, even just using your normal Wrath. Torador obviously wasn't doing his most. So yeah, just abuse that Silas. Use Hex, it doesn't really matter. Destroy Guild Boss, get that 50k, and I'm out.